Emeka Obiagwu is a multidisciplinary professional with a background in accounting, insurance, corporate finance, stockbroking, and public finance. He has over 3 decades experience in banking, financial services, and the public service. Early in his career at Fidelity Bank plc, Emeka successfully repositioned and grew a subsidiary, which he eventually led as the group managing director and CEO. He creditably led the human resources, corporate services, transaction support services, corporate finance, regional banking, as well as the retail and commercial banking arms of the bank. He was a non-executive director of Fidelity Pension Managers, where he also served as chairman of the board, audit committee. He left Fidelity Bank plc in 2015 after 20 years of meritorious service, and in January 2016 joined the Federal Inland Revenue Service as a director with responsibility for enforcement. He was also a member of the Technical Committee of the Board and chairman of the Budget Committee of FIRS, among many other roles. Mr. Obiagwu is an alumnus of the Lagos Business School as well as Harvard Kennedy School of Government, Boston, Massachusetts, USA, where he obtained an executive certificate in economic development. He has had the privilege of studying at some of the world's leading institutions for executive business education, such as INSEAD Business School, Fontainebleau, France, Kellogg School of Management, to mention a few. Mr. Obiagwu is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, fellow Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, honorary senior member, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, fellow Chartered Institute of Taxation, and associate Chartered Insurance Institute. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Emeka Obiagwu.
Good morning. I was so blessed when the first speaker spoke on accelerate, evolve. One of the things that helped my career were things that I picked outside my main course. I studied accounting, but in the course of work, I studied accounting, qualified as a chartered accountant. But in the course of work, I found myself working for an insurance company, and I got in there, an accountant working with insurers, and each time I hear you are not an insurance man, and I asked, what does it take to be an insurance person? I registered for the Chartered Insurance Institute. When I left them, I got into Merchant Bank of Africa, where I worked with their securities, and I tried to obtain the chartered stockbroking qualification, where I trained as an authorized clerk of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And when the Merchant Bank of Africa was dying, I mean, when you are in an institution and you know the institution is going down, at least you know. I was out there looking for a job. I was on Broad Street, and the G Factor played a role, and God said, walk up to Fidelity Bank. That was why I was there for 20 years, 9 months. I became Chief Malomo because God sent me there. And while I got there, I met someone. The first question he asked, can I see your CV? I sent to him. I gave it to him. He said, yes, you're an accountant, you're a stockbroker, you're an insurance man. These are the qualifications we need. Can we now have the interview? And within an hour, I was told I've gotten the job. So no knowledge is a waste. Am I communicating? No knowledge is a waste. So you have opportunities, you can get certifications through LinkedIn. It's not a waste. You can do online program. It's not a waste. A day comes that knowledge will be needed. I'll be talking on the slides, investment opportunities. But before I get into those slides, looking at the number of people here, I see that majority are people who are getting into their career. Am I communicating? Majority are people who are about to start a career, because the charge you got this morning, definitely you get into the career. Those jobs are coming. Good jobs. But there are people that get good jobs. They are there 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And when it's 2 years to retire, When it's what? They'll behave like a woman that was pregnant for 9 months, a week to give birth. The husband is looking for money to pay hospital bills. They forgot that they have been there for 30 years, forgetting their retirement comments. And with those group of people, because they fail to take cognizance of these, scammers, 419ers are able to get into them. They're able to sell get-rich-quick schemes. They sell a lot of them. They put all their monies into it, and they lose the money, and they die of depression. Have you seen people it happen to? So I bring you 2 scriptures quickly, and one is John chapter 9, verse 4. John chapter 9, verse 4, where Jesus said, I must walk the works of my Father while it is day, that the night cometh when no man walketh. This is your day. This is your what? Day. Because a time comes when a man starts his career, is the day. So if you don't plan your investments, when the time comes at the night of our lives, sincerely speaking, it will be late. So what is investment? The scripture defined investment again from Matthew 25, I can say 14 to 19, where the Bible gave account of the parable of the talents. The one that had 5 talents ended up having additional 5 talents. How was he able to get additional 5 talents? Through what? Investment. The one that had 2 talents ended up having additional 2 talents as a result of what? Investment. While the one that had 1 buried it and was not able to do anything with it because he failed to invest. You cannot invest without resources coming your way. You cannot invest when you don't have resources coming your way. So for an individual that is into a career, how do you get the resource? From your salary. If you earn 150,000 and you think it's not good enough for you to start investment, when you earn 1 million, you can still not invest. You will still not invest because you have not formed that culture. Investment is a culture. For you to be able to invest, there must be delayed gratification. I want you to note that there must be delayed gratification. You cannot be earning 150, 200, 1 million a month. All you want is to wear designers. There is no way you can invest. You must set out a sum that you must invest. No matter how they push you, the only money you are free to give out is to pay your tithe, take care of your feeding, but you must plan yourself. Another thing I want us to take out, even if you don't take out any other thing, you must distinguish, because if we talk about investment, you must distinguish between asset and liability. You must distinguish between what? Asset and liability. What is a car? It's an asset. No, I'm asking, in balance sheet, those that read accounting, you are told that asset and a car is an asset. Is it not? But in the real life, a car, after you have bought it from the garage, you drive it for 1 week, even after bringing it out from the garage, a new car, you are returning it back to the owners that you don't want it again. They will not give you the full money. And if you've gone a step further to register that vehicle in your name, it's still losing more value. Something happened to me recently, can I tell you? In 1993, I got some 90,000 naira. It was a lot of money. And then I was planning how to buy what was in vogue was straight boot Mercedes. It was costing about 90,000. My father was in Lagos then. He he spoke to me that there were 2 plots of land that they were selling at Mebamu. How many of you know where Mebamu is? Mebamu is after Okokomaiko. 2 plots of land. I bought the 2 plots of land for 90,000. I tried to perfect it. I tried then manage myself to build a bungalow because my parents were retiring. I told myself, let me just have the bungalow, but venture their challenges paying their rent that they can move in there. After it was completed 1995, a school took it up. I was paying rent. Most times it started from 150,000 a year. 2019, it got to 300. Most times they can't pay. Guess what? I sold that property this year for 25 million naira. 20 what? 25 million naira. If I had bought the Mercedes car, your supposed assets, where do you think that asset will be? Mercedes of 1994, where will it be? Even you won't see it because they would have crushed it. They would have crushed it. So many people go out there, you are happy to, it's good. When you make money, you can dress well. I'm not saying good things are bad. There was a time people will buy perfume of 20 naira, then I'll say you are, but when you get there, you can spend those things. But let it not be that you have worked for 30 years and they retire you under 6 months. Your neck has gotten very long. You know, it happens. It's not that everybody feels it, but truthfully, after 1 year of you leaving a job, you should be able to feed well. You should be able to run your bills. You should be able to move around. Yes, you will curtail a lot of things, but it will not be so sudden that when people see you, they ask you, are you sick? You know, it happens. So what do I invest on as somebody that is starting a career? Because they've given you a job, you are working in an office, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. job. What do I do? There are 3 outlets after you have reduced your expenditure, after you have delayed your gratification. There are things you push forward. You go and spend 50,000 to buy one dress, and then you wash it once. What has that dress become? Huh? I can't hear you. It's already a second hand. That same dress you bought 50,000, you can go to bend down and still get that same dress. That's reality of life. Okay? So you must plan right. But when the time comes, when you've planned out the things, you can buy those things. I didn't say you should not spend. When God blesses you and you bring out 5 million to take care of yourself, nobody will kill you. You know that you can get those things in multiples. But at this time, you need to put money aside. You need to curtail on those unnecessary things. You can use a GL. When people see, they think you are wearing real gold. Sisters, you know what I'm talking about. You can use a GL. People think you are using real gold. So what investment things can I put my money in? It's good to buy land. But imagine if you are earning 50,000 a month. How can you tell the landlord, the owner of the land, sir, this land of 1 million, I love it. Let me be paying you small, until I'm able to pay after 5 years. That will not work. Okay? So that takes me to things you can put your money into. You can look at investment in shares. Do you understand? Investment in what? Shares. You look for a stockbroker. I mean, you can be a part owner of Dangote shares. That when you see a Haji Aliko, you say, I'm a shareholder. He will say, thank you for supporting me. You can be a shareholder in Weber Bank. You can be a shareholder in Zenith. You can be a shareholder in Cadbury. You can be a shareholder in Liver Brothers. By being a shareholder, you are a part owner of those companies. And gradually you begin to build your 20,000, gradually we continue to build and build and build. And as your career progresses, you can continue to increase it. And from that investment that you have done in shares, a day comes that you see a land that is not too pricey. You can sell the shares and use it to do what? And buy land. That's how people grow. That's how people have confidence. That's how people plan for their retirement. Another thing you can do when you are not is to get into insurance schemes. There are insurances that can give you insurance annuity. Those are investments. You can be doing 20 a month based on the plan. As your income grows, you continue to increase. But the worst thing that can happen, all these things are better than you taking money and putting in savings accounts. Because the danger of having money in savings is that someone can come to you and cry. And when they cry, daughter of Zion, brother, you may be so emotional that you can go and draw everything in the account and give to them. One thing I will not advise you to do as investment is that you are earning, you save money, someone has a business scheme and say, let us partner together. You will lose that money. Anything you cannot control, anything you cannot see through from beginning to the end, please avoid it. I don't know if I'm communicating. Anything you cannot see through, from the beginning to the end. Some of you will say, I want to join someone to do Okada business. You contribute money. They should be rendering return every week. They can give you return the first 2 weeks. After that, what happens? Some who did Uber, they have a lot of tale of woes, how it started well. And then Uber changed their process that people can collect cash. And then the driver collects cash. He will say they used that tire had issues. They bought some tires. The police arrested them. They settled police. One story or the other. They didn't see money again. I don't know if I'm communicating. So I've just taken time to look at the few things as an individual who just got into a career that you can do. So you buy the land, a lot of them buy the shares, and when they grow, you can sell some, buy other land, and as these monies grow, as your career rises, you can begin to develop block of flats. They give money. There is no flat in Lagos, a 2-bedroom flat in Lagos now that is less than 600,000, no matter where the flat is. Is that the truth? Everything is high. Even if you have a flat that is like UK flats in a Chevron area, you can earn 2.5 million a year. That's the reality, and people are taking it. So today, looking at some of you that the Lord may be leading to be employers of labor, that people that will have their own businesses. I mean, there are things we just need to look at about our nation, the investment opportunities in Nigeria. Investing in Nigeria means embracing the possibilities of a thriving economy, a vibrant culture, and endless opportunities for growth. Many times I have asked myself, why Nigerians, I've told myself, why Nigerians are running out of Nigeria, relocating abroad. Indians and Chinese are trooping here every day. Nigerians are running away. Nigerians are going to all parts of the world to work, to do a whole lot of things. But Indians, Chinese are trooping in their thousands. What is it they are seeing? What is it we are not seeing? Have you observed the influx of Chinese? Have you observed the influx of Indians? And when they come into Nigeria, they come with briefcase. They come with briefcase. 5 years down the line, after being in Nigeria, these Indians and Chinese are going to Nigerian banks and getting multiple loans of not less than 5 billion naira to grow their businesses. These Indians and Chinese who ordinarily could not have afforded good life in their countries, when they come here, when they run these businesses, they are able to send their children to school in the US, to school in UK, to school in Canada, and get them do MBAs from the money they make from this country. Why the converse, Nigerians are running around away and say there are no opportunities. In how many places, how many countries do you have a market size of 200 million? 200 million market is a big market. Many years ago, I had someone I knew who woke up that he was traveling to Zambia. This was about 1997. They wanted me to sign a bond because one of the things I don't do is to sign bonds. And if I decide to sign, I do not sign open-ended. You know, they are open-ended guarantees. If this man does this, I'll be called to pay. That bond I signed, my liability is limited. The maximum liability is 100,000 naira. I signed maximum 100,000 because I know if I'm dragged, I can sell things to get 100,000. But I called him, I said, look, this 100,000 I'm signing off as a bond, I can give it to you as a seed to do all you want to do in this country. And you know the country he was going to? Zambia. I say you cannot go to a country your country is better than. Please, can you know that? Don't go to a country that your country is better than. Nigeria is better than most of these African countries. You go there, even to afford Coke, you cannot afford Coke in some of those countries. Am I communicating? Don't go to a country that your own country is better than, except like the pastor is being sent to Angola by Chevron to go and work. He's going there as an expatriate. Not that he's jackpotting to Angola, because your country is better than those countries. Our quality of life is far higher than the quality of life of most of these African countries. Is it the way anything that comes out on any fashion street in London, in France, in New York, in Lagos, the next day, those items are here. Have you observed that? There is nothing that you see around the globe you cannot see. The only thing is that the exchange rate may push up the price, but you get quality here. Let's look at Nigeria. Our FX reserves as at 15th May 2023 is $34 billion. Is it high? Hello? Is it high? $34 billion for a population of 200 million. A country like Kuwait, others have FX reserve of over 500 billion. Kuwait, the population is 3 million people. During the era of Jonathan, during the era of Obasanjo, we were having reserves almost 100 billion. This cannot handle imports for over 6 months, and we are an import-dependent nation. Foreign portfolio investments, 1.06. This has been coming down. Unemployment as at first quarter 2023 is what? This unemployment. We have not put underemployment. You know what I mean by underemployment? There are many graduates that are not doing the right job they ought to do. So unemployment is giving rise to 41. What is our oil production per May? Is 1.8 million, 8 billion, no, it's 1.8 million barrels per day. 1.8 million barrels per day. It has improved. There was a time that we are stealing over 600,000 barrels a day. Individuals collecting our commonwealth. What is due to you, due to me, they steal. I don't know whether they put it in their pockets. They were stealing. Poverty level, 11.9%. That's why they tell you that Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. You look at proposed government expenditure, 20.51 trillion. Out of this 20.51 trillion, what government is getting is about 11 trillion. The shortfall, government will borrow. Am I speaking? How many of you heard about the recent approval the government got from Senate, means and ways of 22 trillion? How many heard of it? What is that? Yes, please. Loan. So central bank was printing money and giving to government to spend. So that they just officially document it, it became means and ways. You look at the stock exchange index, real GDP growth is 3.52. As a nation of our size, for us to make progress, we need a real GDP growth of not less than 7.5%, and it must be for a consistent period of not less than 5 years. In the past 4 years, we've gone in and out of recession twice. We've gone in and out of recession. And inflation, as at April, was 22.22%. There was a time we used to have single-digit inflation rates. So what inflation is showing us is that anything you are doing, you go and put money in the bank, earning 3%. That money is below inflation rate. That is, you are making a real loss. Are we communicating? So for you to say you are doing any real investment, it must be above inflation rate. If you go to take a loan from a bank, that loan today is priced at 25 to 27 to 30%, because banks must also give their loans above inflation rate. So these things are quite key. For a person that wants to do a business, that business must give you returns above what? Inflation rate. So looking at the way the economy is, anything you are doing must give you a return above what? Inflation rate. It doesn't matter what people are telling you, but you must ensure that the return you get must be above inflation rate. So a lot of things drive inflation. The naira scarcity drove inflation. I have a good friend who left Fidelity the year I left in 2015, having running good poultry that the farm lays about 500 crates per day. That's a big farm. But guess what? During the cash crisis, they lost over 20 million naira. I mean, these are the situation of the country we are in. You cannot plan. You don't know what comes up tomorrow. You don't know what comes up tomorrow. You cannot plan what affects your business. I mean, it was announced money will be changed, redesigned. All of a sudden, cash became scarce. You had money in your bank. You can't take money when you wanted. And then the egg sellers, because most times egg is cash and carry. So when you don't have cash, will the man sell egg to you on credit? Even if he sells and after you've eaten the egg and he demands for money and you don't have, will he open your stomach to get back the egg? These are realities. So they lost a lot. And that sector, the agri sector, lost a lot. Imagine the people that sell tomato, vegetables, onions, pineapple, pawpaw at this market, this popular market at Mushi. What's that market? Is it Oduoye market? Oduoye. They lost a lot of money because those things were there, spoiled, rotten, nobody could buy. So all those contributed to inflation. So this is the real situation we have found ourselves in. So you look at it, what are the sectors that have performed well in the first quarter, which ended April? Agric. Which sector? Agric has continued to do well. Distribution, that's logistics. Before COVID, logistics was not training. But now you don't need to go around. Except you want to go around the places to deliver things. You can do things end to end. Is it not cheaper to use a distribution company to come and pick something from your end, give to someone, than you driving your car to that place? Is it not cheaper? You can run those things at 3,000, but if you take your vehicle on those errands, you can be in traffic for 6 hours. You can spend fuel of 7,000 to 10,000, and then you are stressed. When you come back, you are famished. You may want to eat food of 3,000. That's reality. But when you have used the distribution outlet, I think it will be cheaper. Another area is the telecommunication. MTN has continued to make money. Shareholders of MTN are smiling to the bank. MTN is a company listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The value of their nominal value of their share is 2 kobo per share, while all the other companies have nominal value of 50 kobo. But MTN's 2 kobo per share currently is over 170 naira per share. 2 kobo per share being sold at 170 naira. This year, they have paid dividend or final dividend of 10 naira per share. Are we communicating? A lot of all these sectors, they have a huge value chain. I'm sure you understand what I mean by value chain. It's just like an agri. Someone in poultry farming, the other value chains. Someone can be in the food, in the feed value chain. Someone can be in the processing value chain. Someone can be in the egg value chain. And what they do now is that there are people who don't want to take the risk of rearing the birds from day one till they are grown. There are people that don't want the risk. So they go to a farmer who can take the risk until these birds have about 2 months to start laying eggs, or 1 month to start to be brewers, they can now tell them, give them money, get it to this stage, and they take it up. So there are a lot of value chains. If you go to a place like the North, a lot of the export Nigeria does currently is more of export of agri unprocessed seeds, soya beans, sesame seed, and a whole lot. So if you go there, they have a lot of aggregators. Aggregators, those are value chains. Am I communicating? So you now look at the manufacturing and then oil and gas. So Nigeria has abundant natural resources. It's enormous. Imagine someone who cooks food well at the restaurants not making money. Why? We have population. We also have natural resources. This is the only country that have so much crude and they are importing fuel. If we are not importing fuel, our forex, our foreign reserve will be far more than it is. Because one of the things that consume the bulk is fuel imports. Nigeria is at a stage now that everything we use, we import. But with discipline, I mean, when you go to Ghana, you won't see a Ghanaian wear these shirts. What do they wear? They wear their kente. They wear their native. They sew it to shirts. They wear it. Even if they wear jacket like my brother, they use that their material to make the jacket. So by so doing, they are reducing forex consumption, that they have a lot of money in their country. So we have fertile agricultural land, oil, natural gas, like gold. There is so much gold. What is causing all the issues in Zamfara? Gold. They have a lot. So people are there tapping it illegally. So governments can go there, develop those sectors, and make money from it. You look at, you can do crop cultivation, livestock farming, food processing, and export of finished goods. You can do a lot. Look at the healthcare. A pastor was the one during the COVID that had a factory that was producing the nose mask. And from the nose mask, a lot of them have gone into producing sanitary pads. So when you produce goods that are in demand, the market size can take it. There is no money. Inflation is high. Have you observed that those that sell sweets, they still sell the same price, but the quantity of the sweets in the pack, what has happened? What about soft drinks that are bottled? Is it still as full as it used to be? They have reduced this so that they will not unduly increase price for people to run away. Because if you don't have money, you cannot take sweet. So when they increase the price so much, you go into substitutes, right? Another challenge we used to have was ease of doing business. The current regime did a whole lot under the office of the vice president on ease of doing business. Before we were at 146, 2018, in 2019, it came down, okay? Ease of doing business. Nigeria is difficult to do business. You go to Lagos State to do perfection of land title documents. It can take you 2 years. Assume a company wants to do that, 2 years is a whole lot of time. After getting that, you must get title document before you talk of building plan approval. You know, and most times, all these bottlenecks is to do what? Get you to bring out money. Because if things are moving fast, you don't need to give somebody anything. But they create those bottlenecks. So a lot of tax reforms, legal reforms, unbundling of bureaucracies, e.g., power sector. But even when that was unbundled, to get meter after paying is still a challenge. That's the truth. So the way Nigeria is, you cannot do a business without the public sector, because the bulk of the money lies with government. I don't know if I'm communicating. It lies with government. Assume you manufacture something, government may want to buy. Okay? You manufacture something that is in high demand, government may want to buy. But what I will not encourage you is that you should not be greedy. Those that are government contractors should give you your money, and then they supply to government and make the so-called huge profits. Are we on the same page? Because you may want to be greedy, you supply to government, your money gets stuck. Still looking at what we said, expenditure is 21.8. We are having a budget deficit of 11.34. So government is borrowing this. Okay? Look at where we are. Out of that budget, recurrent non-debt spending, salaries and others is 8.33. Capital expenditure, government will spend 6.46 on a whole lot of things, and then to service our debt, 6.31. Our debt is high compared to revenue. So these are the sectors you can get yourself. Agric is doing, controls 25.6% of GDP. Distribution controls 16% of GDP. Telecoms 13.6, manufacturing 8.96, oil and gas 5.7, real estate 5.6. Telecoms, manufacturing, so I think having gone through all this, let's spend the next 8 minutes I have to take your questions so that I'll be able to answer. Thank you. Questions, please. Yes, sir. Maybe he can use this. Maybe he can use it.
Thank you, sir. My question is on that insurance problem or challenges. In some of these insurance pertaining to investments, in some of these insurance, we have come across bottlenecks there. Then it all discourages people from investing in insurance. Take, for example, there is a annuity, something like that. Then the other one, there's another one too, a year, 5 years, 10 years or something like that. But when they allow you to come in, when you register with them, there will be no problem. But when you want to collect money, that is where the problem is. And all these things, what can we do in order to bounce back to this type of investments?
More questions, please. Sir, the insurance is not, I've done the 5 years with ICO many years ago, I got my money. I've done with linkage, I got my money. So first is, look at the right insurance companies. You have good names, good insurance companies. Yes, sir. Yeah. But, write them a letter, still follow up with them. Okay. Thank you, sir. My question is this. I'll ask the question probably outside the teaching, and I was given a car by my uncle, sometimes last year. And because I was working with him actually, and there was no time for me to actually, my intention was to use the car for Uber business so that it can be can serve as another source of revenue or income to me. But there was no time, and there was no those people I've seen so far are not reliable, or they are not giving me what I want. So at a point, managing the car become burden to me, because what I'm earning is is very, very, very small to what I can be spending on the car. So as I speak right now, the car, instead of becoming an asset, has become a liability. I had to park the car somewhere. So I want to ask, sir, because you talk about having a share, being a shareholder in maybe in an insurance stock. Okay, for me to convert that liability to assets, sir, I plan selling it actually. What can I invest the money? If I decide to sell the car today, invest the money on that I can be getting my. All depends on how much you can sell the car for. But the truth is, like when we were in the bank, when I was had my driver, I gave him, he got a car. I was able to get a car for him, which he drives to come to my house. I come back home 7 p.m. It's not every day he walks up till 7 p.m. So all you do, if you have that, you can walk. If you walk with your brother 24 hours a day, so your free time, you can drive around and cover your cost of fuel and other things. That's what people do. Like those that work on the island, if you are going to work, you see people by third mainland carry passengers. Don't you see them? They carry passengers, collect money. When they reach their park, will finish their work. When they are going back, they carry passengers. At least that adds to their things. But if you're able to, if the car has become so much liability, if you're able to get 500, 600,000, they are still landing at places like Ekpe. If the title is good, buy and take your eyes off it, because if you buy and sell immediately, you may lose some money. But if you allow it to appreciate, you will still make money. Yes, ma'am.
Praise the Lord. So my question is on the investment in shares. I remember, I don't know specifically, God bless my late dad, he invested in the First Bank, that shares. And ever since that sector, they said it's crashed. I have this phobia on, because even is it turnover now? The money there is not even up to half of what he used to invest in that particular share. So I don't know, maybe you can use your experience now as a stockbroker to enlighten us more. Is that share now, is it, because I have this phobia concerning, I'm talking based on the experience.
Okay, thanks. Don't be so afraid. Please don't be angry. Because this is a real life. If someone had been in an aircraft and it was turbulent, they had a turbulent ride, will you want to go by boat from Lagos to America? No, you will not want to go by boat. So life is about risk. You must take calculated risk. You must look at a company that has good fundamental. Okay? Even the land you buy, there are lands you buy, tomorrow there are the issues, you lose the land. The truth about life is that you gain some, you lose some. What matters at the end of the day is that there is still some positive. Is it not? Nobody keeps everything. Nobody. Let's trust God to guide us. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. My question is based on investment in agriculture. I want to know, is there any about it? If there is any bank that does that, please, is there a way you can someone can get to know them, and what are the processes involved to get such?
Nigeria has Nigerian Agricultural Development Bank. And that was why NISRA, CBN set up NISRA. Okay, because when you get into banks, Nigerian banks can work to fund agric. But for them to be funding agric, they will not want to do a startup. Because a man that is getting into startup has not gained any experience. Okay? Apart from agric, no bank will like to go and fund any startup business. They rather prefer an expansion. I have seen that you have done this over time. You have gained the experience. It's just like someone that has run a poultry business over 10 years, grew the birds from 1,000 to 5,000 to 20 to 50 to 100 to 200. If that person goes to a bank and say, I'm now looking at moving it from 200 to 500,000 birds, the bank can say, can we move from 200 to 350? Based on the experience, the bank funding 150 knows that money will come from these other places. But imagine someone that has not done it before. You don't know the drugs you give to birds. You don't know when they are sick. You don't know when they are, a whole lot of things. So everybody wants to see that that business is the risk. You must reduce the risk. My time is up. Can I just take her? This sister has been raising her hand. My time is up. How many more minutes? Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. Sir, this has been a burden in my mind for quite some time. So as an employer to employee relationship, I think that pension is like maybe a welfare initiative of the employer to the employee. But in the country today, pension has not been helpful, so to say. After retiring, the stress of you getting even your 25%, like it is always so stressful. I've seen people gone through that stress. And the 75%, the pension companies keep telling you that they are going to invest the money for you, then they'll be paying you the money monthly till when the investment is going to end, till when the 75% is going to elapse. So when we have other options like life insurance and annuity, what is the essence of pension when you have to keep stressing yourself before? Because I feel like pension should be like a kind of investment too, but it is not helpful. So is it possible for the country, for companies to just scrap pension and go with annuity or life insurance instead?
You still can do that too. The pension, because pension is mandatory under the law. So there is no amount of money you put aside for retirement that will be too much. During our days, our parents can do a whole lot, may not get much of pension, but they trusted us that we, their children, will take care of them. But the way things are, no parents, even you that are young, you should not trust your children yet unborn to take care of you. By God's grace, this year, I'll be a grandfather. My children have all graduated, but I'm not looking forward to anybody. I don't know if I'm communicating. I'm not looking forward to anybody too, but I know they are godly children. I know that when God blesses them, they will send me a big car to use, but it's also good that you have your own money. You eat what you want. And when the children, even if they are married, they do what you don't like, you can look at them in the eye and say, will you stop this rubbish? Because you can take care of yourself. I don't know if I'm communicating. Yeah, you can look at that person and say, can you stop that rubbish? Yeah, you can take care of yourself. You have your roof. You travel abroad with your wife. I mean, you don't know to know, yes, you've been going on business class all along. You degrade yourself to economy. When you come down from the plane, it's not written economy. Is it written? You go to the same venue. You check into a hotel. And these are attitudes we need to start building up early. Not traveling to stay in somebody's house. Not traveling. I gisted with my daughter who is married. She's abroad, but I'll be coming to the UK soon. She said whether I'll stay with them. I said I cannot guarantee that. I want to stay in the hotel. I want to have my freedom. I can go to visit them, stay a night, but my life should not be contained that you need to have, I think it helps. Does it not help? Yeah, you go, you give yourself respect. Yeah. You know, those days in Igbo land, a man does not sleep outside his house. That's the truth. You don't sleep outside your house. I go to some places, I find it difficult. Sleep outside my house. It's only when I'm abroad. Or in Lagos, no matter where, I'll come back. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity, sir. Sir, you raised the point. You said you cannot invest without resources. And I look at these guys that are overseas coming in to invest in Nigeria. They are coming from a place that they were probably more established. The environment to invest is also easy because you look at Nigeria, the environment, the platform most times to strive is not there. That's why you get Nigerians going overseas to even do well. So I don't know, what would you suggest on, I look at your example of the Indian who was able to get a loan from a bank. That's huge. I'm sure the collateral must be huge for the bank to have released that kind of money. So what are the ways, how will you suggest we as Nigerians could tap into capital? Because everyone has an idea, but you need fuel to fuel that idea, which is the resources.
Praise the Lord. I think many times when people talk about Nigeria, they talk as if it's a basket hopeless case. It's not. When you go abroad, the person that works in Canada pays a tax of not less than 40%. How many of you are aware of that? Abroad, the tax rate is high. That's in Nigeria, you can buy property and sell ×2. Nobody knows that you made 50 million naira. How many of you know? Nobody knows, it's only you. You are not paying anybody tax. Abroad, if money gets into your account, Inland Revenue is pursuing you. There are many things we do and get away. You are not paying tax in this country. The truth is, the pastor prayed and spoke about not giving up. Most times when I speak to people, I remember when Joshua was about to take over leadership from Moses. All that God was telling him was to be strong and what? Courageous. Most times we lack courage. Courage is key. The money you are looking for, money grows. What money needs is idea. The Indians I spoke about, some of them will bring money. Like there is an Indian I've known that has been in Nigeria in the past 25 years. They started by gathering all this metal scrap. They were the first in metal scrap. Gather people who collects, he sells, pay them. Before you knew, he now set up a steel processing plant. Indians. One Indian I know, I met recently said, there is no part of the Southeast he doesn't know. By going to gather cashew, aggregator, pays the local farmers, small sum, gather cashew, give it to big people, make some money. Over time now, he now exports himself. You know, there are times many businesses Nigerians think is demeaning. Is it not? We think is demeaning. This does not reflect my status. This is the only country everybody wants to be called doctor, PhD. That even a good school cert holder is better than them. Recently, someone asked me whether I want a doctorate degree. I saw of what value will it be? Because everybody wants doctor. Backyard, doctor. Those that can't write their name, doctor. Has it added value? No. Have I answered your question? It's in the mind. Success cometh from the mind. You need courage. You need strength.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my question is in terms of savings, I think savings, to me, savings is not the problem. The only challenge I have is that the time value of money in this present economy. Now, like you said during your presentation, that majority of Nigeria are underpaid in this current Nigeria and the economy. The point is that when you are pulling out money, for example, insurance, I work with mutual benefits, and when it comes to savings, and you are saving, let's assume you have a target for that money, because that is the method we use to sell people when it comes to insurance. That, okay, you can save towards this, you can save towards building. But the point is that after 5 years, everything has gone up. The value for that money is no longer there. In this present economy, how can you navigate in that state? Thank you.
There are some people that sell estates that say you can be doing 50,000 every month. If they are real, that's another way to save money. Okay? There are people whose money convert to dollars. There are people that invest in US dollars. I'm not talking about crypto because people have lost their money in crypto. I had a program at Harvard, and they told us that they were going to take us through a session of crypto. And I left the class. The white person asked, why are you not in the class? I said, there are things you don't learn at an old age. So I can't be learning cryptocurrency investments at an old age. I want to see my money, know where it is. I mean, you speak to me now, can you put some money that, yes, it can earn you high return, but you can lose the principal. At this age, I cannot be doing any investments that I can lose my principal. The first thing I do is that my principal must be safe. Because if I lose money going to 60 years, it's calamity. I have lost money before. I mean, those days when I lost in the stock market, I lost over 70 million. God saved me. My blood pressure did not go up, but I can't afford to do that now. Yeah, if I do that now, that's dangerous because I don't have the leisure to work for another 5-6 years. Okay? So everything I'm doing now is slowing down. Yeah. Okay, finally, let's take this sister and end this session.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so my question is on the shares investment you spoke about. So for a young career professional that doesn't really know how to navigate around, what is it possible for you to give like specific opportunities where one can invest in shares?
You need a stockbroker. They will not charge you money for helping you do that. Okay? If you check stockbrokers in Nigeria, you will see their names and their offices and their phone numbers. You call them, they give you their account opening details. As you have money, you put in and tell them to buy. But you can discuss with them. They will advise you from time to time. Yeah. So they are stockbrokers on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. They'll be the people that will buy. You can't buy directly. The only time you buy directly is when a company is doing a public offer, like MTN sold the last time, okay? But others, you must go through a stockbroker, which is the secondary market. Thank you. Do we still have, can I take one more? Okay, sir. Morning. Yeah, it's not their market I'm looking at. Profit is not same for you. It's not from one item you make that profit. For your business, it's a turnover business. What it means is that you must do much. So in a day, you can do about 15. So at the end of the year, it's from your profit, you can calculate what is your profit ratio. That will be more than the 22%. It's not from one item. If you do that, you're out of market. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. God bless. Okay, hello, sir. Considering the very poor state of the country in recent time, in accordance to the analysis you made during your teachings, for a person whom has not been opportune to get resources to start up something to generate earning, is it advisable to strive to leave the country to another country better than Nigeria in revenues for opportunities? Okay, the candid truth is I must be truthful about this. For someone not having something to do, you don't have anything to do, and you are not going abroad by sea. Because you must be careful, the cost of jackpine, when you consider the total cost, is also a lot of money. So that money that you are using to go to an unknown place, most times, if you plan yourself sincerely, it will generate a lot. Nobody gives someone free food abroad. There are people that are abroad that I have sent monies to. I don't know if I'm communicating. There are people that are abroad that I have sent money to. Many years ago, I have a friend that had been in the UK for many years. And we are speaking, the guy was murmuring, grumbling, how bad things are, how things are. I mean, whining. I asked him, what's your account number? He sent, I paid 1 million naira to his account. That's the truth. The person abroad will send you $2,000 to help them sell. I don't know how many have observed, $2,000 to sell. While you are helping him to sell, he will call 50 people to confirm rate. And he will tell you just difference of 25 kobo. The bookies are charging 748.25. If he gets someone that is selling 748.50, he'll be the one calling and tell you to go and give to the person. How much is 0.25 on $2,000? 500 naira. But we in Nigeria can overlook 2 naira per dollar because the Aboki man, there is a Aboki man that deals. I called him, I said this, how much are you? He said 743. I said, but somebody else is selling 74, will buy, sell 45. He said, but okay, you are bigger than that. I said, yes, I'm bigger. Give me what you are selling. And it closed the matter. But the man abroad will haggle 25 kobo, call the whole world, harass you, you will not have peace of mind. Thank you very much.